Doug.
And I'm Cathy.
And this is Maggie Mae. Join us as we follow the moon. Today, come along with us while we explore historic Charleston, South Carolina. This is both of our first time being here, so we're just kind of out to see what all Charleston has to offer.
And it's starting out beautiful.
It sure is, so come along with us.
Thanks.
Now, we started our day off at the Charleston Visitor Center. There's a large parking garage. Directly across the street from it is the Visitor Center, and then that glassed area is where all of the tour buses and trolleys leave from. But right there in the Visitor Center, they've got a wealth of information. They have a small museum there. It's a nice visitor center just all on its own. And the parking garage was great. We parked there for the whole day and walked a lot, but we walked the whole town. Now, right across the corner from that is Wragg Mall. And you'll see several things in town with this Wragg name on it. It was a very prominent person back in the day. But this land was all left for this little green mall area. Beautiful fountain. It was already down for the winter months. We were there the very 1st of November.
The thing that was striking to me was immediately as you stepped out of the visitor center, you started seeing historical buildings everywhere.
Now, another one is the Charleston Museum. This was America's first museum. It's been operational for over 250 years. And right out in front of the museum is something you don't see every day. This was a Civil War submarine. You can see by that little diagram, it's people powered, and that's the torpedo out in the front. And they would have to ram that torpedo into the ship that they were attacking. It would come off of it, and then they would all twist these things like bicycle pedals, and that's what spun the propeller at the back of the submarine and made it move. This is actually a replica of it, and it ends up, this is taller by 17 inches than what the original was, so I can only imagine how claustrophobic that had to be. But everywhere you look, there's 2 stories, there's 3 stories, and there's even an occasional single story, but all of the historic homes are just beautiful. That has faint writing across the front you can see was a grocery. And the entire town is like that. Now, this is New Tabernacle Fourth Baptist Church, and this one is the Second Presbyterian Church. And there are some beautiful old historic churches throughout the town. This is Citadel Square Baptist Church. And right across from that is Marion Square. And Marion Square's got a couple really cool fountains. It has this memorial to Wade Hampton. This is a South Carolina fountain. It has fox, otters, turtles, frogs, all kinds of wildlife, and a beaver standing there beside it. This is also here in that Marion Square is the Holocaust Memorial. They do have a plaque with Holocaust survivors' names that are
We're residents of
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Beautiful green space, and again, directly across that green space, you'll see another spire rising. That's St. Matthew's Lutheran Church. Now, a lot of these homes have beautiful gardens. Some of them are gated and fenced, but there are just some amazing buildings. Now this is the Washington Light Infantry building.
That dates at 1861.
And this is one of their fire stations. And this one is particularly interesting. They've got their big fire bell sitting out there in the alcove. This was one of the first paid fire departments, a non-volunteer fire department. And that was originally a well, a spring, I guess. This Cathy noticed, and I had missed it, but if you look under the doors, they have all of their things ready just to jump into and go. And that was out in front. Now, another very famous spot is the Charleston City Market. This is actually 4 blocks long going towards the water. Most of it is open air. There's parts of it that I believe are kind of closed in on the side but open on the ends. But you name it, just a little bit of everything, all local items in through there, and you can kind of see how long this goes. You come to the end of one building, you cross the street, and you go into the next one. It's 4 blocks long. I love the colors in these paintings over here. Now, when you leave that, you'll see the United States Customs House. And when you see a customs office, you know you're getting close to the waterfront. And right there is Joe Riley Waterfront Park.
This was beautiful.
They are known for this pineapple fountain that is just beautiful. But the whole way along the park, you'll see the waterfront. And I think that probably was one of the most breathtakingly beautiful harbors I have ever seen anywhere.
It absolutely was.
You see the bridge out there in the distance, the USS Yorktown, which is available to be toured. It's an aircraft carrier. You'll see Fort Sumter out there in the distance. That's one of those places you could just come and spend an afternoon. Now we left the harbor and took a short walk. And again, everything you see is just beautiful. And consider this is the first part of November.
Yeah.
And by now we were getting a little bit hungry. We went to RuRu's Tacos and
Tequila.
this place is killer.
Yeah.
This was a really, really good find. Everything is creatively named. If you go down the menu there, we started ours off with what you would normally order as guacamole and chips. Their name for it is Ma the Meatloaf. So that's Ma the Meatloaf, and the chips are like smoky.
Oh, they were so
They were
good.
the best chips I've ever had.
Yeah.
They make them fresh daily there. Cathy had, I'll have what she's having, which were mahi tacos, and I had the Clarence Beaks, which is a skirt steak burrito. Absolutely out of this world.
And massive.
Yeah. Now this was the Farm and Exchange Bank building. This right here, the old Exchange and Provost Dungeon, is a very historic landmark in the town, and it is open for tours. We had Maggie with us, so we couldn't take the tour of it at that time, but it's a very interesting building. This is the scene you see right across the road from it, and as you go down towards the left from there, you'll see Rainbow Row, named because of the colors of the buildings.
It was delightful.
It was the type of historical buildings you'd expect to see in Charleston, But to me, the colors reminded me of what you'd see in the Bahamas or somewhere. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It was really, really pretty. Now, Charleston was originally Charlestown before it was incorporated, and this is part of the original wall that went around the lower part of the city here. It was, I believe, up to 2 foot thick.
I think so.
Now, down at the tip of the town here is where you'll see the waterfront come back into the town. And they've got a beautiful walkway that goes all the way down along this. And it's all stone. It's like large tablets of stone that you walk on, and they're not fastened down. You do feel them move as you walk across them.
And the street level is below.
Now, White Point Garden is the area right across from that, and you'll see the cannons there along the edges of it. This was a big area of defense of the city. Sitting on that corner is a monument that's the Confederate Defenders of Charleston. As you walk on through the park, you'll see a large statue in the middle of the park, which is General Moultrie, and the monument to him. This is the Sims Memorial, and this one is a memorial to the USS Hobson. And that's a listing of all the people to be remembered from the Hobson. Now, this is their cathedral basilica, St. John the Baptist, and it is an absolutely amazing church. Just a few blocks from that is St. Michael's Church. And this is a little park called Washington Square. And it has a small replica of the Washington Memorial, as well as this statue of George Washington. Right beside that Washington Square is the South Carolina Society Hall. This was originally built as the first fireproof building. Didn't use any flammable materials in it. Now, this is the Circular Congregational Church, and the church is made in a circular shape. It's really amazing, all brick, and it's got one of their oldest famous cemeteries there on the property. Most of Charleston, from what we saw, was very pet friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was such a cool design.
Those headstones dated back to the earliest people to live here.
Now, just across that harbor we showed you earlier is Sullivans Island. And this is the Sullivans Island lighthouse. Unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was very unusual.
It's not a round lighthouse like most of them that you see. But this is still in use by the Coast Guard, so you do stay a distance from it. It's all secured area. And while we were out on Sullivans Island, we went to the Fort Moultrie National Historic Park. Fort Moultrie is right here on Sullivans Island. Fort Sumter, the other major fort in the Charleston area, you do have to take a ferry over to it. But the burial spot of the Chief Osceola is right there on the grounds. They do offer tours. We got there about 15 minutes before they were ready to close, so we just toured the outside and the grounds. It was starting to get a little bit late. The shadows were getting a little bit long. And the harbor from this side is just as breathtaking.
Yes, it is.
Well, we're ending our day out here on the harbor. And Cathy, what did you think of Charleston and the surrounding area?
Oh, I love Charleston. This is such a beautiful town and such a variety of stuff.
We've heard great things about Charleston. I don't know why we should be surprised. But
That's right.
I think we are just a little bit surprised with how great Charleston was, and it's definitely on our do-over list. There's
Absolutely.
so much to see in this town.
Yep.
So with that, we want to thank you all for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a thumbs up. We surely do appreciate that. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do that and ring that notification bell. That way you'll know when every one of our new videos come out.
And thank you for following us as we follow the moon.
Thanks for watching today.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel.
And be sure to ring the notification bell so you'll know when new videos come out.
Don't forget to follow us on social media too.